Whether you're just starting or getting back into it, I wholeheartedly recommend this one, the Antigua Winds AS3108. This is the student model for you. Stick around. Howdy everybody, my name is Andrew King. This is Alamo Music. Don't forget to check us out at alamomusic.com where we have this instrument and so many more available for purchase and perusing. Today we're going to be talking about a personal favorite brand of mine. You know them well. It is the Antigua Winds saxophones. The Antigua Winds saxophones are fantastic. They have a full plethora of different ranges, models, colors, finishes, all kinds of stuff. And you can find them all on our website at alamomusic.com. So with this horn, I want to go ahead and start here at the beginning. So there are a ton of different Antigua Winds. You got your power bells, your pro ones, you even got the 5200s right there in the middle, totally specialized for different things. Well, there needs to be something that's a little more approachable, right? And they have the perfect horn for that, the AS3108. This is the student line model akin to your YAS23s, your beginner saxophones you get from Salmar if you go and rent them from your local music store. This is that instrument. So with this one, let's go ahead and talk about why you would want to get this, right? You're a beginner saxophone player. Whether you're an adult or you're a student needing to go and get your very first instrument, you need to get something that's going to be responsive, not get in the way of your playing, and it's going to be good for the long run. And that's where this instrument comes in perfectly. Saxophones for the student model or for the aspiring student are instruments that are made to last. They are going to be instruments that can take a beating most of the time because usually they're going to be used by a sixth grader, someone going straight into middle school, getting their very first super expensive thing for the first time. That's a huge daunting task, especially from the eyes of a parent that has to spend all that kind of money to get one. Well, no fear, you can get this one for a much lower price, which you can find on alamomusic.com, and you can get this one for such a low price, but you get the playability like any of those saxophones that you can see for like $1,500, $2,000. Now, as far as this one goes, this one is readily available through our website as well, or through any of the local dealers in your area. Just go ahead and call around, they can tell you if you can get one. Now, as far as the AS3108, the particular things that I am really impressed by, one is the post-to-body construction. Post-to-body construction basically means that they go ahead and post all of these little parts right here straight on the saxophone. And when you have that, that means that they can kind of take a little bit more of a beating. And that's kind of going to happen. Unfortunately, parents, your student's going to make some mistakes with the saxophone. It just happens. Whether it's a hit on the stand, actually clunking on the chair. I mean, they're little dudes, little dudettes. They're going to hit it on the chair right there, whether they're using the neck strap, putting them in between their legs. It just kind of happens. And you want an instrument that's going to be, honestly, going to keep playing if that kind of thing happens. And luckily, this is that perfect option. So with that, you also get what I would call kind of perfect responsiveness. And what that means is that the bore is at a size where it's really easy to play. Now, I'm a professional saxophone player. I've been playing for a very long time. I'm using a professional setup on this instrument. I also have a proper airflow. And when you have those things, any saxophone is going to kind of sound kind of samey despite little things that change on the saxophone. But when you're a brand new student, you're going to be learning how to use your lungs, or your stomach for that matter, to breathe into the instrument and make a sound. And that's what this kind of instrument is really, really well designed for. It's going to be perfectly responsive to any kind of aspiring student that wants to go into them. Whether you're a sixth grader, whether you're an adult, whether you're retired and you're wanting to get into the saxophone, this instrument will do what you tell it to do, and it won't get in your way. When you're looking for your first saxophone, a lot of the time you're going to see a lot of instruments at those lower price points. And that can be an issue because those instruments just aren't built very well. We like to use the term instrument-shaped objects for a reason. And so when you have those and you get those super cheap instruments, what ends up happening is things will break on them over time. It might play well right out of the box, but what ends up happening is like a month in, the parts start bending, the metal is just not as good as what it could be or should be. And then you end up going to your local repair tech, and they're just not going to want to fix it because the parts aren't available. They don't sell those parts to their vendors or anything like that out there. So that's where something like this is great. These are beautiful Taiwanese-made instruments, sort of right out from the country, brought over to America, and they are perfect for any kind of beginner player. So let's go ahead and take a listen to the saxophone real quick. This is going to be me playing it, and I will see you in a moment. So what did you guys think? I think this thing is a pleasure to play on. It worked straight up and down. I was able to do all my scales. I was basically able to do everything that you're going to be asked to do as a beginner. And this also has some really cool things that I didn't notice before playing it. One of the things was that the low C key and the low B flat and everything, all those keys that you play on the lower end are kind of a little more ergonomically friendly, especially with someone with smaller hands. I think that this instrument is really nice for the fact that you have a great reach on your low C key. The low B flat is really easy to bend into. The rollers are extremely responsive right out of the box, and they will last for a long time. I do think that this is kind of one of my more favorite lower end playing instruments as far as whether you're doing subtone, whether you're just honking the horn on the low end. It's very approachable. Also the finger keys and everything too, they're just very comfy. It reminds me a lot of kind of like the upper end Yamahas or the Yanagisawas in that fact. The other thing too, it's a nice good weight. I think that one of the things that ends up happening is, especially with these kind of beginner models, they end up being very light. And what that kind of translates to is that when it kind of takes some damage or anything like that, it can be really harmful to the instrument. This one's got a nice weight to it. It's very well balanced. It feels great in the hands. Again, like I talked about before, the responsiveness out of this instrument is also spectacular. I think that I could recommend this to any student that I have as their first instrument, and they would be good to go straight up to high school, without a doubt. Now, there are definitely instruments to upgrade to, and we'll get to those in other videos, but for one that you're going to be starting out on, whether it's going to be a brand new student, you're a kid, you're going into it for the first time, you're taking your first lessons, or all the way up to the point where you've retired and you're just wanting to get back into the saxophone, maybe you played in college for a long time ago, this is the kind of instrument that I can recommend wholeheartedly. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. Let's do that one today. Hit the bell icon. You get notifications whenever we get videos out, and that is very much appreciated. Well, hey, thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.